Imagine you are lying in the pitch-black darkness of the African Savannah 100,000 years ago. There are no walls, no doors to lock, and no streetlights to push back the shadows. Above you, the stars are blindingly bright, but on the ground, you can't see your own hand in front of your face. You are exhausted. Your body needs to shut down, but there's a problem. In the tall grass just 20 yards away, a high-ranking predator, a leopard or a hyena, is just waking up. Its night vision is 6 times better than yours. It can smell your breath. For most animals, sleep is a death sentence. It is the most vulnerable state a living thing can be in. Yet, humans didn't just survive, we thrived. How did our ancestors manage to get 8 hours of rest in a world designed to eat them? To understand how we slept on the ground, we first have to look at where we used to sleep: the trees. Millions of years ago, our ancestors, like Australopithecus, slept in the canopy. Much like modern chimpanzees do today, they built sleep platforms out of folded branches and leaves. It was high, it was sway-y, but it was safe from most big cats. But then, about 2 million years ago, something changed. Homo erectus appeared. We grew larger, our brains got hungrier, and we started walking upright. Suddenly, we were too heavy and too clumsy to spend all night balanced on a branch. We had to come down to the dirt. This was the most dangerous transition in human history. Moving from the trees to the ground meant entering the kill zone of the world's most efficient predators. So, how did we prevent our first night on the ground from being our last? The first and most important lock on our door was fire. In the source material, we see how ancient humans used resources to survive the elements. Fire wasn't just for cooking, it was a biological shield. Most predators have eyes designed to amplify the tiniest bit of moonlight. A roaring fire doesn't just scare them, it physically blinds them, creating a perimeter of light that predators are instinctually afraid to enter. But fire requires someone to feed it. This led to a fundamental shift in human biology. Unlike almost any other primate, humans do not sleep all at once. We evolved what scientists call the Sentinel Hypothesis. In a group of 20 hunter-gatherers, there is almost always a chronotype mismatch. The night owls, usually the young adults, stay up late, while the early birds, often the elders, wake up before dawn. In a study of modern hunter-gatherer tribes, researchers found that out of 200 hours of sleep, there were only 18 minutes where every single person in the tribe was asleep at the same time. Someone is always watching the fire. Someone is always listening to the grass. Because we were sleeping in groups around a fire, something weird happened to our brains. We started sleeping differently than every other primate on Earth. If you look at a chimpanzee, they sleep for about 10 to 12 hours a day. Humans, we only need about 7 or 8, but our sleep is much more efficient. We spend a massive amount of our night in REM, rapid eye movement, sleep, the deep, dream-heavy stage where the brain processes information. Because we felt safe enough in our groups, our bodies allowed us to fall into a deeper, heavier, evolutionary coma than a chimp would ever dare. We traded quantity of sleep for quality. This deep REM sleep is actually what scientists believe allowed our brains to grow so rapidly. We were downloading the day's lessons while the sentinels watched the horizon. You might think those days are over, but your body hasn't forgotten the savannah. Have you ever stayed in a hotel or a friend's house and found it impossible to fall asleep the first night? Scientists call this the first night effect. When you are in an unfamiliar environment, your brain's left hemisphere actually stays alert during sleep. You are literally keeping one half of your brain awake to act as a sentinel, just in case a predator or a modern equivalent comes through the door. We also still have the Hypnic Jerk, that weird sensation where you feel like you're falling just as you drift off and your leg kicks out. That is a 5 million-year-old reflex from our ancestors in the trees, a final check by the brain to make sure you aren't about to fall off your branch and into the mouth of a waiting leopard. We no longer sleep around fires, and we don't have to worry about hyenas, but every time you tuck yourself in and check that the front door is locked, you are repeating a ritual that kept your ancestors alive for 1,000,000 years. You aren't just sleeping, you are practicing the ultimate survival skill, because you are history.